Today I am going to be videoing Rosemount Cottage in the parish of Keppa in West Limerick. It's a small cottage that was first built in 1821 and has been passed down through the generations to the owner today. I am going to concentrate on four main areas of the cottage while videoing it. These are the reed thatch roof fixed on with twisted wire ties, the beautiful colourful red painted windows, the lime rinder on the front of the house, and the limestone work that makes up the four walls of the cottage. So firstly I'll be talking about the thatch roof. And for generations, thatch was the most inexpensive and therefore the most popular form of roofing material. Reed was used for this cottage to form the thatch on the roof. This roof was first thatched in 1821 but was then under repair in 1947. As I zoom in a bit closer, you can see the reed in detail and how dry it is before they start to thatch with it. You can also see how carefully the thatcher layered on 5 to 6 foot bundles of reeds on top of one another so that the impenetrable shell of waterproofing covers the whole roof. When the roof went under repair in 1947, the top layer of the old thatch was removed, leaving the bottom layer intact. The new thatch was then placed on top of this, resulting in the thatched roof being a thickness of almost 2 feet, which is about 600 millimeters. Up at the top of the roof, the reed is held on with twisted wire ties to keep it in place. Reed is the finest thatching material available, and because of where this cottage is situated, it will last for 60 to 70 years. This thatching method makes it one of the strongest types of roof, certainly one better able to handle high winds. One of the great attractions of this thatch is that it is extremely thermally efficient. It's warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Now I will move on to talking about the lime rinder that's placed at the front of the house. This lime rinder is applied to give protection to the limestone wall behind it. Back in 1821 the walls would not have been built to the best standard, so the lime rinder gave it protection, especially against the prevailing winds. It helps acting like a sponge, absorbing rainfall, then allowing it to evaporate rather than soak it into the wall. If this lime rinder was removed, the walls would suffer from penetrating dampness soaking through them. On this cottage the lime is painted white to give it the good Irish cottage effect, but as you can see the paint has started to crumble off and it needs to be repaired. Looking in from the side gives you an idea of how thick this lime rinder was on the front of the walls. To create a smart and smooth finish, they first apply a scratch coat to fill the hollows and take up some unevenness, followed by one or two more coats which were worked to a flatter surface. This lime rinder is applied using as much pressure as possible to force the mortar into the surface. When this job is done to the best standard, it gives the cottage a great look. Moving on from the lime rinder, I looked at what's actually behind it. This cottage is built from stone, and that's what's behind the lime rinder at the front of the house, but the stone is actually on show at the gable end of the cottage, which I think was a great design feature. As I worked my way down along the side of the house, you can see the different shapes and sizes of each individual stone. The stonework travels the whole way around to the back of the cottage. This stone wall was built to the correct standard following basic principles of working with stone. It was very important to maintain the regional styles and use local materials. As you can see when I come closer, the wall is beginning to crumble away a small bit. This happened to this cottage before, and to overcome it, the builder used similar materials and the same style to restore the building. The largest stones were placed at the base of the wall, with stones graduating downwards in size as the wall ascends. When they first building this wall, they worked with cement, but when they were carrying out repairs they used lime mortar as it was an older building. This was ensuring that the repairing of this old cottage was done using the correct materials. Finally, to finish off my video, I'm going to look at the windows of the cottage. Now here you can see that the windows are painted a nice bright colour red to really show the scene of the Irish cottage. The window has a wooden frame and stands out really well. In 1947 repairs were made to the building and these wooden frames were repaired. But as you can see, the timbers are beginning to rot again and it would definitely need to be repaired. The paint is also peeling off a small bit, so maybe a small bit of paint would go nice with this window again. The other window is about 4 feet away from this window and it's looking in to the kitchen. This gives light into the kitchen. This window is then looking into the front bedroom of the house.